think offensively is where we didn't have that confidence, and I think Ty Monken brings that. And I think that they actually will go back to bringing the fight, and it's going to catch a lot of teams off guard because now they're not used to seeing the Browns like this, and they're still trying to figure out who they're going to be with their new identity of a head coach as well. So I think actually the Browns is set up in perfect position to actually kind of steal the division this year, and I think they're actually going to do it.
I ain't never lost, never in my life.
What's good, NevaLoss fam? It's your man BDB. Hey, listen, today we got Tyvis Paul. We got my boy G Bush. They on the panel in the UCSS, man. And they are talking about the Cleveland Browns and their chances of winning the AFC North. Tyvis came with a bold prediction that he believes Cleveland will win the AFC North. You know your boy BDB been saying that all year, all 2026. I've been telling y'all, hey, they are putting together a squad over there, a big-time squad that I think can absolutely win the AFC North, especially with all those teams. I feel like everybody got a little bit worse in the AFC North. Every team went down. Meanwhile, the Browns, I feel like, is inclining, man. So we're going to go to UCSS. Sorry about this. We're going to go to UCSS. We're going to check out a little bit of Tyvis Paul's, his reasons behind why he think he's going to win. We're going to listen to some of the people get their pushback on whether or not they feel like, you know, I think Earl the Pearl on here too, if I'm not mistaken, man. Shout out to Earl. They're going to get their pushback on whether or not they feel like Cleveland has a chance, man. Then, you know, I'm going to give my commentary on what I think. Y'all already know I think Shedeur is going to lead them boys to the playoffs. But we're gonna see what they got to say, man. And I'll give y'all my breakdown on why I believe they're going to win. They're going to make the playoffs and win the division pretty handily, man. But let's check it out. Let's check it out.
What's the take today, man? What are we talking about?
Well, it's funny because I'm sitting in the Browns studio, so it has to be Browns related. You know what I'm saying? I've been sitting back thinking about this one for about a good week and a half now, right? And I'm looking at the AFC North, right? And I'm looking at the team, so I'm looking at everything that went into it. And my take is that the Browns will win the division this year. Now, listen, before y'all get all up in arms and before Zach get the itching in his seat and whatnot, listen, hear me out. Hear me out. I know Zach like a book. He sat up like this with his hands. He got his hands ready to go. He did that. Look, listen, hear me out. This is why I say that.
I can't lie, Zach low-key be looking like a fiend. I don't know what he be on, man. He might be a recovering cigarette smoker. The way he be doing his gums and doing his his hands and everything is like somebody who either got a coke addiction or need to smoke a cigarette. All allegedly. I'm just talking shit. Yeah, I'm letting people go.
All right, y'all would admit that there was 3 coaching changes in the AFC North, right? And y'all would admit that typically when you get a new team and a new coach, there is a period where people have to buy in. You gotta test this coach out. You gotta understand if this is the right guy. Am I gonna follow this guy, right? And I think looking at Todd Monken and looking at where the Browns is and how they are building their roster up this offseason, they're really trying to get back to the trenches. Now, games is won and lost in the trenches, and the Browns have been doing exactly that, fixing that up. I think they'll win a lot more games because they fixed their offensive line. The defensive line has already been good. I think that will help there, but I think Todd Monken is going to do a really good job of getting these players to believe in themselves. I think that's...
All right, pausing it there. So yeah, I do absolutely agree with they bolstered up and did a good job with bolstering up the offensive line, man, which is gonna help create a solid run game. Shedeur only needs a little bit of a run game, man. As long as he got a solid, steady, 3.5, 4 yards per carry run game, man. Every once in a while, bust a 20. I think Judkins and I think Sampson can provide that, man. I think they have a good 1-2 punch, man. I think they can combine. I think they may grab another one. Even though Rocket Sanders, he didn't look bad when he played last year. I think they'll add another one in there just to help out. I think they'll add probably one more. I'm not sure, but as long as Shedeur has a little bit of a run game and the pass blockers can give him a little bit of time, a little bit more time than last year, get him a legit wide receiver one, because they're looking at Carnell Tate. They may get him, and I think they'll probably double dip and get another receiver early in the draft. So I think if you look at the weapons they had, their defense is top 3. To be honest, probably the best defense in the NFL, but we're gonna say top 3 at the least. Their offense, though it put up some of the worst numbers in the league last year because they had a revolving door of quarterbacks, revolving door of offensive linemen, and their wide receivers couldn't catch a damn pass last year. But They have a stud running back in Judkins who showed some flashes. Harold Fenton Jr. was a stud. He showed some of a super bright light, man, at the tight end spot, that he can be a stud, a star. We know what Judy can be when he's at his best, and if you look at his career, it's been 1 year high, super high, over 1,000 yards, then the next year be low, then the next year high, then another year low. That's kind of how Judy's roller coaster ride been going. He had a low year last year. Expect him to go over 1,000 yards this year, man. So if the trend continues, Judy should have a good year this year. Dylan Sampson, he didn't get a whole lot of usage, but then they start finding ways to work him in with Shador because he was on that hungry down team with Shador. And, they just had a chemistry, man, and you've seen what he can do when he get the ball in his hands in open field. He's super fast. He breaks away. He gets going. Isaiah Bond, again, another wild card, man. He isn't super big. He's tiny, but he has elite speed, man. I don't know if his route running is elite, but I know one thing. He found himself behind the defense all the time. He got behind them for them deep passes all the time. Shador continuously found them. Sometimes he overthrew them, but no matter what, we know Bond can go deep and get open. So if he learns some of them underneath routes, he make can cook up too. So if you just look all around, they have some solid pieces on offense, some solid, strong pieces on offense. Which, with a healthy draft, I think they'll easily have the best team in the AFC North. As long as Shador comes to play like we know he will, man. Shador is going to do his part. We just need him to go. He only needs, to me, 3,500 yards, but I think he's going to go for about 37, and I think he's going to put up 30 touchdowns and 13, I'll say about 13 picks. I'm going to let him keep going.
The number one thing that the Browns have to do, they got to have that confidence, that cocky swag. When they had that, that's when they went to the playoffs and looked really good. Obviously, the playoffs, whatever it was, but still, I think that Todd Monken brings the same type of attention and the same type of aggressiveness that we just lost in Jim Schwartz. So I think that offensively, we will get that swag on that side of the ball. I think defensively, they're already going to have that because they've seen that they are that guy. They are those guys. I think offensively is where we didn't have that confidence, and I think Todd Monken brings that. And I think that they actually will go back to bringing the fight, and it's going to catch a lot of teams off guard because now they're not used to seeing the Browns like this, and they're still trying to figure out who they're going to be with their new identity of a head coach as well. So I think actually the Browns is set up in perfect position to actually kind of steal the division this year, and I think they're actually going to do it.
Those are all good, valid points, man. I like where Tyvis went with it. I think he laid out his argument pretty good. Let's see what G, Earl the Pearl, and Zach got to say. Pretty confident Zach is he ain't going to go for it. He going to say the Browns ain't going to be good because he's a part of that media. Even though I believe, well, he usually is in the locker room, things like that. We'll see what he say. More than likely, he gonna say the Browns ain't gonna be good. But let's see what everybody has to see. I haven't watched this whole clip.
Before I even get into it, you don't gotta. I'm the least most. You don't got to convince me too much. It's like you need a new pair of shoes. I sure do need a new pair of shoes. That's what I'm gonna let Zach go because he done said his shoulders.
Right to Zach.
So Titus, as you astutely pointed out, there were 3 coaching changes across the AFC North, right? The one in Baltimore was made because they thought they were going to win the Super Bowl. They didn't even make the playoffs. The guy had been there almost 2 decades. It was time. The one in Pittsburgh was made because they kind of plateaued. He'd been there even longer than the other guy in Baltimore. He thought it was time. Some of the organization thought it was time here. The coaching change in Cleveland was made because the offensive talent couldn't win the Alamo Bowl. So how is suddenly one coaching change going to win the AFC North?
He said the offensive talent couldn't win the Alamo Bowl. I wouldn't go that far about the offensive talent, but I will say the coaching by Kevin Stefanski, the offensive coordinator's plays that he put together couldn't win the damn Alamo Bowl. But they're always going to throw it on the players because of how much they like Stefanski. So I'm going to let them keep going.
And an offensive line change. And we're gonna we got two first round picks, you know what I'm saying? I like it. Listen, you sound like you don't trust the vision. You don't see the vision, Zach. See, you think it's small. Sometimes you gotta step back to see the whole picture. You too zoomed into it right now. You gotta step back and see everything that's going on. It's not necessarily exactly about the Browns. It's about other teams having to make changes too on the fly. And I think the Browns will steal the division this year. I just think it's up for grabs.
Hey bro, I ain't gonna lie. I don't think you're too crazy. I'm actually picking up what he's putting down, man. Because we play that, right? And sometimes when you go to franchise mode and you build out your team and you select the coach and they give you an archetype, right? Master motivator, offensive mind, defensive mind. And you said something that I totally agree with. I think that if I had to give Todd Monken an archetype, it would be a master motivator. And that kind of like goes well with what I heard Jenny Hassel say about they felt like they had the talent to win more games this past season. And so how do you get more out?
And that I agree with too. If they didn't have this revolving door shit, so a quarterback, if they actually made it a fair quarterback competition and let Shador win out from the beginning, I guarantee Shador would have won at least 7 games last year. I think he would have absolutely won 7 games last year because there was a few of those games that they just blew. They just blew the lead on, man. They had the game. And that Jets game, for example, there's no reason they should have lost that game. Minnesota, they shouldn't have lost. They shouldn't have lost the one earlier in the season. Joe Flacco threw like 3 picks when the defense was playing lights out. I think that was against Cincinnati? Maybe that might have been early against Cincinnati. But it was a litany of games, and Shador still went in there and won 3 games. So I think he'd have got 7 up out of it for sure. I'm gonna let it keep going.
Out of that talent, right? And that's with better player development, better coaching, and better motivational tactics, right? And so if guys are already buying into what Todd Monken is selling, and he got them kind of revved up internally to go out there and redeem themselves from a bad 2025 campaign, we all know the NFL is built off of parity. And every single year, it's always a team that shocks you, that blows your mind, that makes it to the promised land, that wins the division, or just simply flat out makes the playoffs that you've never seen coming. And there's always a team that you're like, there's no way in hell this can happen this year. And the Browns very possibly could be that no way in hell team for a lot of the reasons that you alluded to. The defense by itself can win you about 5 or 6 games, right? And so if you get a competent offense to go with that, I don't think it's far-fetched. Now, you are being codependent on the Ravens, Steelers, and Bengals not really having the success that you think the Browns can have, but crazier things can happen, and it's been a long time coming. So eventually that dark cloud got to move from up over the city of Cleveland someday, right?
Well, go ahead.
No, I said I respect it. I don't know. I just think that everybody looks at this as, because we're so in the Browns need to lose. They need to get worried about 2027, getting a high pick in 2027. And I think what swung me over was hearing Todd Monken say, like, we want to build a winning culture. We want to win games. You know, how you fix the culture, you win. And I feel like, to me, like, that is the best way to do it. Now, it might not help you, get one of these top premier generational talents, but I think when you win games and you're part of that mentality, like, it makes things easier. Like, it seems like guys want to be a part of it. It'll help in free agency. It'll help with trades. It'll help with the young guys coming into a winning culture. One of the things I told y'all last year, one of the things that was frustrating was, talking to my boy Q one day, and he was just saying, like, how he's not used to losing, like coming from Ohio State, and I think he said it in the media.
You talking about, when you say Q, we talking about Quinshaw and Junkins, man. Came from, all he do is win, man, to come here with all this loser mentality, the whole team, the whole fucking media just saying, hey, we're gonna lose, hey, maybe we should tank, maybe we should try to get a quarterback next year, we should lose. And when you ain't used to going through that, I've told y'all, man, I never, I don't give a damn. I hoop my whole life, man. Play football too, but if you told me that, hey, you got a one-on-one opportunity versus LeBron James, man, I believe I can win the game, man. I'm a little bit delusional in that take, probably, but I got ultimate confidence in myself that, man, I've been doing this for forever, just like he's been doing it forever, man. And I believe I can get buckets on him, man. I just believe. I believe in myself, man. Y'all might call it crazy. I call it confidence, man. I'm letting keep cooking.
Well, like, coming from Ohio State, like, we won every game. So, like, I don't know what this losing stuff is, and I don't like it. Like, that to me is like what you need. You need those young guys to be a part of that winning culture and understand how contagious it is. Jarvis Landry is very famous for saying how losing is contagious, and that mentality of not practicing and all that stuff. Like, that is a fact. And I think that is the only way the Browns are going to get themselves out of this, is they have to win. It might cost them the first pick. It might cost them Arch Manning or Dante Moore or whatever the heck you want to say. But to me, in the long run, it's building a culture that we are winners around here. We're going to take the fight to people. The best season they had in the last 10 years was when they finally had that aggressive mentality. And I just think Todd Monken is going to bring that.
You know what? I'm going to give you credit for this. Because, I was like, this might be kind of wild. But as everybody went and talked about it, I just looked at it. I said, okay, let me get into my bull Jay Crawford bag. Now, before I say...
that's what happens when you sit in the one chair.
Yeah, let me get into this bag real quick. If you look around. If I look at the division, on paper, if I'm looking at the division, I just saw the Cleveland Browns with nobody. They beat the Steelers at home last year, didn't they, guys? I think Harold Fanning Jr. went in that game, put Sean Judkins. Hey, the Steelers had something to play for, a playoff berth. I thought the Browns won. Then you look at the last game of the season, right? Now, last time I checked, Joe Burrow was out there, T. Higgins was out there, Jamar Chase was out there. As a matter of fact, Brown was out there, and they was at home. I think the Browns won that game, right? If I'm looking at it, squinting, I can go back to the first game and say, if the kicker, he makes his kick against the Bengals, then that means the Bengals would have lost twice to you, right? So if you're looking at the division and you're looking around, you believe in Mike McCarthy like that? The Ravens got to reset. They got to figure it out. Oh, and by the way, people say there's a lot of holes. Your boy, my man Halim, he hit me up. He said, G. Bush, yesterday I was talking to him. He hit me up. He said, G. Bush, let's talk about these magical holes that we got. He said, don't we got a running back? Yeah. Right. He said, don't you got a number 2 receiver? So yeah, Jerry Jeudy, number 2, cool. He said, did you address your offensive line? I said, yeah. He said, don't you got 2 first-round picks that can address other things that you need to get? I said, yeah. He said, don't you got a stud tight end that's young? I said, yeah. He said, but what about the defense? I think the best defense in the AFC North, right? I said, yeah, you got Myles Garrett. He said, I said, so he said, so where's 4 wins, 5 wins? I said, you know what? I don't know. If you can get your special teams together. You lost 2 games last year on special teams. If you can get serviceable quarterback play, and you can limit the turnovers, you can run the football, and you can get a Cardinal Tate or offensive lineman. Hey, listen, Zach. I mean, that sounds promising to me.
Hey, that G. Bush is cooking. He is cooking right there. That's a lot of the stuff that I alluded to. The special teams, and I believe they picked up a few weapons for special team purposes. I can't remember who they got, but they got somebody from I can't remember. I think they picked up a special team weapon. Now granted, it's one person, but as long as they can get the special teams under control, to be honest with you, the offense, I don't think is that far off, and the defense is absolutely elite. So again, it's the defeaters loser mentality that I'm sure Zach is gonna bring in the conversation, because they gotta have a contrarian here. I'm gonna let them keep going, man, and then we're gonna end it. Depending on what his first few sentences, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to listen to him, but we're gonna let them go. Keep going.
I don't need 4,000 for Shador to get me, 8 wins? I need 4,000?
I mean, I'm looking for some paperwork here because you guys need a mental health
Don't you ask me why I didn't come to
Here we go.
Look, the Browns fired a coach for several reasons. One of them being they thought they should have been a little bit better, right? And I do think with just expected improvements, organic improvements that talented young players make from year 1 to year 2 early in their career, I think with just little things in coaching and cleaning some things up, they can be better. But winning this division with this offensive personnel, guys, it's taking a leap and saying the special teams are automatically going to be much better. It's including that defense is going to be really, really good again. And I think it has the pieces to do that, right? Can you replicate all of that? I don't know. But winning the division is not winning 6, 7, 8 games, right? Maybe this division is a train wreck and it's 8 and 9 and your defense carries you, maybe. But I think we're in crazy talk. I'm in crazy talk with Tyler.
All right, I don't even want to hear the back and forth. I already knew. So y'all know my stance, man. I think Browns have a great future. I think Shador has a great. I don't know if he could have got into a better situation. Mine is like maybe being the next quarterback for the Rams when Stafford, like he was the backup for Stafford, and Stafford's going off into the sunset, and he's gonna take over that situation. That's the only situation I think that could have been better for him, man. He got a solid running back, good tight end, a decent number 2 receiver, 2 draft picks in their back pocket to get some other receivers around him. The defense is elite. Shador has never had a running game, has never had an elite defense. You get him an all-world, a great offensive line with a solid defense. He's never even needed a great defense. He just needed a solid defense, and his defense is now elite. His running back is solid behind him. His O-line is solid. I think the sky's the limit for Shador Sanders and the Cleveland Browns, man. Hey, man, trust me when I tell y'all they will win the division. Right now, I got them at 10 wins in the division, but I'm creeping to saying they may actually be able to win 11 games next year. When they roll the schedule completely out, I'm going to look at it and I'll tell y'all where I think the wins are going to come from, and we'll actually do some predictions on that, man. But I can't wait on the draft. I can't wait to 12 get the preseason and take them first snaps and just show why he's the best quarterback on the team, man. BDB NevaLoss Pod, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Y'all have a good one, man. We out of here, baby.